יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu v'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
How's everyone doing tonight? All right, it's officially summer. You know how we know? Because the time changed to 6:30, so that means it's summertime. Now, as often as we can throughout the summer, we're going to be outside, but it's a little hot, and I think the rain is coming, and whatever, so we're in here this evening, but look for some great services coming up outside. Let's turn around and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Say hi to the people around you.
Shabbat shalom. It's lovely to have you.
And let's everyone take a big deep breath now, and we're going to let the week go and try to get in that space of peace and rest and relaxation. We're going to hear some beautiful music this evening from our special guest, who I'm going to ask Cantor Adam to introduce.
Well, thank you, Rabbi. The lovely person next to me on my left, and the lovely voice you're going to be hearing tonight, is that of Marissa Katz-Sokolovsky, and she is one of our fellow congregants. And she is a lyric soprano with an amazing voice that you're going to be hearing tonight. And you're going to say to yourself, wow, it's a really good thing that the cantor is hoarse, because we have someone else who can bring the feeling of the stars down to us, because that's where this voice is from. So I'm very pleased to have Marissa with us. Hopefully it'll be the first time of many. And we're, of course, pleased that her family is here as well. Let's wave to her family, sitting just about where John Hirsch is. There we go, we're waving. And so we'll begin our service on page 332 with the words of Yedid Nefesh, beloved of my soul.
Yedid Nefesh of Harachaman Mishoch Avdecha El Ritzonecha Yarutz Avdecha Kemo Ayal Yishtachavel Mol Havdarecha Yerab Lo Yedidotecha Minofet Suv Vechol Tahar.
Second paragraph.
Adonai, Ziv haolam, nafshi cholat, ahavatecha. Ana elna refana la, becharot lanom zvicha, az titchazek
la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Yada da 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 da, yada da da da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da
Page 9. Page 9. Let's read responsively by paragraph. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Page 12.
Naria, the sword Yishenu, the kadma fana bitoda. Naria, the sword Yishenu, Bismillah, Naria lo. Lechuneranena, Ladonai. Lechuneranena, Ladonai.
On page 20. At this time in the evening, or soon as the sun starts to set, Judaism says that we experience a qualitative change in the nature of time because we move from ordinary time to sacred time. And we have words for this in Judaism. Ordinary, the word for ordinary is chol, and the word for sacred is kodesh. And so here at the beginning of Shabbat is when we pause in the flow of the day and just mark that transition in time and try to feel it. And Lecha Dodi is a poem that was written a long time ago about this transition. The poet imagined Shabbat coming into the world as a bride entering into the chapel for her wedding. And just like when you're at a wedding and the bride walks into the room, you feel something different. The energy changes, the whole vibe of the room changes, and Kodesh, holiness, comes into the room. And so we'll sing Lecha Dodi now on page 20, and I invite you to try to find that place of holiness and feel that palpable transition in the nature of time.
Lecha Dodi likrot kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamichad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Hashem ul tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, Pnei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, Pnei Shabbat mekabela.
Verse 5.
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי אם למקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורי, קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And now we're ready for the bride to enter the room. If it's your custom to rise to greet Shabbat, I invite you to do so and turn towards the door.
ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence of God. On page 24. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShaarei, Malachei Yon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitzem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Yon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Thank you, Elaine. Close your books. Over the last 2 days this week, Wednesday and Thursday, Cantor Adam and I had an opportunity to attend and participate in a conference that was held in New York City at Stephen S. Wise Free Synagogue. It was convened by a group of rabbis and cantors and lay leaders to talk about the future of Reform Judaism. this conference was called Recharging Reform Judaism. All right, because we're looking to recharge things around. So I was invited to speak yesterday at the conference for as part of a session that was about theology and worship and spirituality. And so what I'd like to do tonight, because most of you weren't at the conference, of course, is to, I'm going to share the remarks that I gave yesterday. Some of you have heard some of this before, but maybe it's a little bit of a different take. And anyway, I just want you to hear what it is that I had to share at the gathering of these colleagues from around the country. American Reformed Jews, to borrow a phrase from the band REM, are losing their religion. The drop in engagement with our movement is part of a broader trend in decreasing religious affiliation across the board in our country. But the story is not all gloom and doom. Tara Isabella Burton, a contemporary theologian and observer of American culture, points out that the decline in conventional religiosity is not matched by a corresponding decline in spirituality. This is evidenced by the fact that people who define themselves as spiritual but not religious is one of the fastest growing groups in American religious life. Meaning there remains a strong thirst for spirituality, even among millennials and Gen Zers. They're just not seeking it in traditional religions anymore. Burton explains that traditional religions offer 4 key benefits to the spiritual seeker: meaning, purpose, community, and ritual. Once upon a time, not so long ago, a person would seek out all 4 of these elements in just one religion. But this is no longer the case. Burton argues that today, people are seeking to meet their spiritual needs in what she calls a remixed fashion, which means they feel free to mix and match a little of this, a little of that, to create their own personalized forms of spirituality. And instead of looking exclusively or even mainly to conventional institutional religions like Judaism, the spiritually remixed are turning to what Burton calls intuitional forms of spirituality. Secular quasi-religions like social justice and DEI, politics, wellness culture, science, and even Harry Potter fandom. Given this trend, it would be futile to discourage our people from seeking their spiritual fulfillment in a remixed way, and to claim that they can find everything they're looking for in Judaism alone, if only they would give it a chance. The ancient Nazir, whom we read about in this week's parasha, Parashat Naso, is a monk-like figure who seeks religious meaning by immersing himself in extreme Jewish practice. This kind of figure is dead. As Burton puts it, this shift is deeply rooted in the technological changes of the 21st century. It is, at heart, the natural spirituality of internet and smartphone culture. And yet, even as science and technology have made our world so much more expansive, their sheer ubiquity has also paradoxically narrowed our understanding of it. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel already realized this half a century ago. In his book, God in Search of Man, Heschel tells this parable. When the electric streetcar made its first appearance in the city of Warsaw, some good old Jews could not believe their own eyes. A car that moves without a horse. Some of them were stupefied and frightened, and all were at a loss how to explain the amazing invention. Once, while discussing the matter in the synagogue, a man entered who, in addition to studying the Talmud, was reputed to know books on secular subjects, to subscribe to a newspaper, and to be well-versed in worldly affairs. "You must know how this thing works," they all turned to him. "Of course I know," he said. And they were all hanging on his every word with total concentration. "Imagine 4 large wheels in a vertical position in 4 corners of a square, connected to each other by wires. Get it? Yes, we get it. The wires are tied in a knot in the center of the square and placed within a large wheel which is placed in a horizontal position. Get it? Yes, we get it. Above the large wheel, there are several wheels, one smaller than the other. Get it? Yes, we get it. On top of the smallest wheel, there is a tiny screw, which is connected by a wire to the center of the car, which lies on top of the wheels. Do you get it? Yes, we get it. The machinist in the car presses the button that moves the screw that brings the horizontal wheels to move, and thus the car runs through the streets. Ah, now we understand. Heschel uses this parable to point out that as we gain ever more technical knowledge of how things work, we tend to wrongly believe that we understand the totality of everything. But this is a delusion. There is infinitely more we don't understand. How is it even possible that there are elements and forces in the world that if you combine them just so, you get a car or a smartphone? How is it even possible that the human mind has the capacity to figure those things out? As the majestic and sublime give way to the much narrower field of the observable and provable, we don't even ask questions like this anymore, let alone contemplate them. We lose our innate sense of awe and wonder. Consequently, as the theorist Stephen D. Smith puts it, our experience of the world becomes unconsecrated. Because while it may be explainable by empirical data and mathematical formulas, it is missing that intangible and enchanting quality we call holiness. To quote Smith, this reality might be compared to a movie with the musical soundtrack deleted. Visually, the same actions occur, but something is missing. Something that helped to endow the movie with mystery and joy, romance and suspense. An unconsecrated world is a world with no musical score. The great spiritual challenge of our time is to rediscover the music, to expand and deepen our awareness of reality by venturing into the realm of the holy. Judaism's term for holy, as you know, is kodesh. The same word also means separate. In Judaism, holiness and separateness are bound up together. Kodesh refers both to the fullness of all the earth and to all that exists separate and apart from the ordinary stuff of the world. And we say this in our liturgy, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melochol haaretz kevodo. It means holy, holy, holy is God. The fullness of the whole earth is God's glory. And it goes on, Baruch kevod Adonai mimkomo. Blessed is God's glory from God's transcendent place. A place that, as Rav Soloveitchik explains it, is beyond our reach. While the modern secular quasi-religions of the remixed do offer community, ritual, purpose, and meaning, they do not in any way point to the holy, for the simple reason that they are fundamentally humanist in nature. meaning that they center on the human being and the human experience, and thus they limit the scope of reality to that which humanity can know and master. By contrast, Judaism sees a reality in which humanity plays an important role, to be sure, but which is also much, much bigger than we are. A reality that is infinitely complex and mysterious. And no matter how much knowledge we gain through scientific discoveries and how many new capabilities we acquire through technological innovation, this reality, with a capital R, will forever be beyond our ability to fully comprehend or control. Einstein said, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. His eyes are closed." Einstein pinpointed something profoundly true about the innate human longing for spiritual connection with the wondrous, the sublime, and the transcendent. This is why, even as we continue to abandon traditional religion, we are still searching. And while we are finding a lot of what we're looking for outside of conventional religion, it still feels like something is missing. Because modern secular humanist culture and its forms of discourse like politics, social justice, and wellness don't give us the vocabulary to engage with the mystery. It's just not their sphere of concern. So, we need to fill in that gap. And it's a major one. We need to fill it in with a language that can help us become more attuned to the sublime and transcendent dimensions of reality. Fortunately, Judaism gives us that language. We call it liturgy. And it's found in what may be the most important text in all of our tradition, and that is the Siddur. My proposal for recharging Reformed Judaism is to offer the people in our orbit the opportunity to build an intimate relationship with the liturgy. Not only so that they can participate more fully in prayer, but much more importantly, so that they will have a spiritual vocabulary to have conversations about things like holiness, reverence, awe, God, and cosmic purpose. A vocabulary that can help them make sense of their lives in the context of a reality that is far too vast and far too mysterious to be explained by conventional humanist concepts and categories. We're doing this here at Temple Beth-El. I teach a weekly adult education class called Judaism's Spiritual Vocabulary. It's on Thursday mornings from 9:15 to 10:15 a.m. It's devoted to careful, in-depth study of the prayer book. Because the class is ongoing rather than limited to a certain number of sessions, we move through the liturgy slowly and deliberately, exploring the various dimensions of meaning, from literary structure to biblical allusions in the poetic language, to halakha, to underlying philosophies in rabbinic texts. In addition, a crucial aspect of our methodology is to study the liturgy together with secular scientific and philosophical sources, to draw out deeply embedded ideas and gain insight from comparing Jewish and secular worldviews. One example of this is a recent conversation, or series of conversations, in which we contrasted the Kabbalistic concept of the human soul with modern scientific literature explaining why the concept of a soul is incompatible with the theory of evolution. And we discussed at length these contrasting theories' implications for the meaning of human life. These conversations elicit insights and invite exchanges of ideas that simply do not happen in other settings. because the vocabulary we engage with in that room is a vocabulary that just isn't used in other spheres of life. In that way, our discussions of the liturgy lead to more textured and dynamic perspectives on our lives and our reality. In the remixed world of today, where people are curating their spirituality from the best of what they think is out there, I believe Reform Judaism's uniquely comprehensive and modern vocabulary of transcendence and holiness, embodied in our liturgy, can add value for anyone who is searching. And I would add as a coda an invitation to you to join us for our discussions on Thursday mornings. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Marissa, I'd like to invite you to come on up here, or maybe up there because you're going to sing from there. And Leah, you want to come on up as well?
I'd like to say a few words about the memory of one that we lost recently, who is very dear to so many of us that are in this room and those that are listening. But for the sake of children, I'm going to be spelling out her name. There is a song which I love, which is called The Rose. I would like to share the opening verse with all of you. Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you its only seed. Mora, A-N-N-A, you are that seed for so many of us. I will always see your sweet and sincere smile greeting me in every classroom that I walk into. In every playground that I take my son to, you will be present. And when I feel the sun, I will always remember your warmth, your love, your goodness, and your sincerity. I have not come to terms with you being gone. But wherever you are, I hope that you feel the love of the countless children and adults that you embraced year after year. You were not only a teacher to them, but a teacher to all of us as well. May her memory be a blessing for all of us who mourn her, and may those memories of her one day outshine our present grief.
Page 28. I invite you to please rise. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai, Page 30, together in English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness, and darkness from light, transforming day into night, and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
ומעביר יום ומעביר לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הערבי.
Page 32.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו וקומנו, נשיח בחוקך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ויורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ויאהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Page 36, please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. מלכותך רוב בניך, הוקע ים לפני משה, זה עליינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדרנה את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 43, together at the top. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts, and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shamreinu, shamreinu l'chaim. V'hamidenu shamreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shomecha. Itaknenu b'tzei tova, tova milfanecha. Mechoshienu lemon shemecha. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Eloheinu leshalom. Shalom.
Baruch atah Adonai Apores Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Page 44.
Shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לי עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו
בני ישראל
את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבוד וינפש, שבוד וינפש, שבוד וינפש. שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם.
Page 46. Please rise.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, למען שמו ואהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue now in silent prayer.
feel free to continue your private meditations at your own pace. You can also join us for the evening prayer for wholeness and peace on page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu Melech Adon לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם.
שלום רב
על ישראל עמך,
תשים
לעולם.
וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם.
תשים לעולם.
תשים ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
I invite you now to call to your minds and hearts those friends and family members and congregants and others in your lives who are struggling and in need of healing. If you're praying for someone this evening and you'd like to share their name with us, I invite you to do so now. Thank you, Rochelle. Thanks, Arlene.
Tracy Hazan.
Thank you. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Roberta. Thank you, Mark. May God be with them all and bring them a speedy renewal of body and spirit. Page 253.
שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Page 282. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We remember now those members of our families and community whom death has taken. If you are comfortable and able to do so, I invite you to rise as you hear the name of your loved one read. On this Shabbat, we are in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Anna Kassar and Lynn Schwat. And we recall the yahrzeits of Joanne Buchführer, Mamie Ellis, Gussie Epstein, Richard Hirsch, Muriel Hirschberg, Lila Hyman, Samuel Mayer, Harold H. Moore, Jacob Penner, Marcia Rosen, Beatrice E. Scheinfeld, Gladys Stumer, Leonard Walder, Florence Regalski, Shani Lauren, and Santiago Galdames. If you're remembering someone whose name wasn't read and you'd like to share it with us, I invite you to do so now. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. If it's your custom to rise for the Kaddish, I invite you to do so now. We're on page 294. Yitzkadal v'yitzkadash merabah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi
Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam U'Lalmei Almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Tekudasha Barichu.
Richu.
Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. May their memories be for a blessing. And we say together,
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat
First,
Shalom.
I want to say a very big thank you and yasher koach to Marissa Katz-Sokolovsky. Thank you, Marissa. It's so awesome to have an incredible singer like Marissa in our congregation. And I'm glad that you joined us on the Bima tonight. I hope you'll do it again. It was really fun to have you here and inspirational, powerful singing and powerful music. And Cantor and Shai and Marissa, you guys were an awesome team. And Yasher Koach, thank you.
Yeah. Rabbi, if I may, I just want to thank Marissa for agreeing to do this. I drafted her into this role a little bit hesitantly, but we got her up here, and thank you for doing it. And I want to echo the rabbi's sentiments. Thank you for doing it. I also want to just point out this is the last in this year's season of celebrating women's voices. We've been very fortunate to invite Rabbi and I several wonderful women's voices onto the bima to join us. We are aware of the gender imbalance up here of late, and so it's been part of an effort of ours to make sure that we correct that imbalance. So we hope you've enjoyed many of the voices, including tonight. So thank you, Marissa, for closing us out with this.
Thank you. And Cantor, you want to say something about next week?
Next week, God willing, we will be outside without rain and without extreme temperatures to enjoy a lovely evening of Israeli jazz. We're going to be joined by the Matan Klein Ensemble. He's a wonderful musician, a flautist and composer who studied at the Ramon School, among other places. And it's going to be a lovely evening of music, and I hope you'll join us for that.
Yes. Thank you, Cantor, for putting all these wonderful musical experiences together. I want to say also a thank you to our outstanding usher, Phil. Where's Phil?
Thank you, Phil.
Let's hear it for Phil. And to the Margoloff family for the challah.
Thank you.
And thanks to our Oneg bakers, Linda Diamond, Martha Hirsch, Roberta Lulov, Ellen Safian, Debbie Sutton, Cheryl Silverstein, Donna Letterman, and Sharon Freeman. And if you want to participate in the Oneg baking crew, all you need to do is let Joy P know. Where's Joy P? Joy P's in the house. You can see her. Just tell her that you're ready to get involved with the baking, right? And she will help you with that.
I also see a few unfamiliar or less familiar faces. Maybe you've been here before and you ducked out before we had the chance to say hi. Please wait for us. Grab a bite. Have a nosh. We want to say hello to you, so don't run out.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. And and let's also say, so Marissa has a child in our early childhood education center, and his name is Jonah. And is Jonah here? Oh, okay.
He's running.
He's running.
He's running.
All right, good. Well, so Marissa and her family and her parents are here, and her husband Sergio is here, and anyway, it's wonderful to have you guys here. So we are going to, let's see, I want to invite Lynn Smiles to come on up because today is Lynn's birthday. And Lynn, I want to invite you to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. And before we do that, Cantor and Marissa will lead us in Adon Olam.
Yeah, but you're going to do it.
All right.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יצא נברא ואת נוסף בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ויחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להכבירה אלי ראשית אלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אבקיד רוחי הייתי שם ואירה ועם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. הבנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים. אתה אדוני אלוהינו המוץ Amen.
Shabbat shalom. All right, go greet your fans. Good. Thank you.
Uncle Tom, happy birthday.
Next time we'll